144. Shabbat Shalom. All praise to the Most High. Feel the vibration. See, you guys should get this app. It's available for Windows and both on your phone. It pretty much allows for all your music, all of your MP3 music to be played in 432 hertz. Very helpful app. So the reason why I have this open is just because I plan to hopefully go over this tomorrow on the Sabbath day. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go into Daniel. I'm going to go into Revelations. Hopefully. I've been waiting on it. I don't know. I don't know. I've just been waiting on it. I've been sitting on it. But hopefully I'll get it done tomorrow. If not, then that means the Holy Spirit wants me to gather more information on it. It's the same reason why I delayed the Cain video, because just more and more information has been coming out. So I'm kind of waiting until I have more and more. So that's going to be a banger whenever I'm able to get to it. But today, the lesson that I have planned for today, I mean, as you see in the title, it's going to be me examining different cultures and trying to find the similarities, trying to unite the nation, to bring unification to the nation, like I like to say. Hopefully I can do that. First, I'd like to go into the Polynesians or the Melanesians. I'm kind of slow right now because I'm fasting right now, so kind of slow, but please bear with me. All right, so these are the sugar fields that was done in the Polynesian islands, right? Kind of looks familiar, right? Just because these people have different DNA, you know, they have blonde hair and they look a little bit different, but in a way they kind of don't, right? Like the black ones, like the Melanesians, you know, they kind of look like, you know, so-called black people, and the Polynesians, they kind of look like Latinos, right? Of course, looks don't matter, but these people went through slavery as well, which was indentured servitude, but so did we went through indentured servitude as well. We went through more indentured servitude than slavery. So I wanted to play this clip for you. This is going to show you some of the history of just a small piece of history, because I only did like just, you know, a little bit of research on each of these, I guess, countries, just so I can get you guys to look at things a bit differently. So let's watch this.
Well, for years, farmer Brian Corder suspected there was a mass grave on his family property near Bundaberg. He'd been told as much by his grandfather, who himself heard it from the neighbours when he bought the farm in the 1920s. Like many other farms in colonial-era Queensland, it had been a sugar plantation, and like the others, had used labourers from the South Sea Islands in conditions that have been compared to slavery.
So, you know, they worked in the sugarcane fields, and they were in the South Sea Islands. Kind of reminds you of the West Indies, right? How these are the South Sea Islanders.
Now Brian Cordes has found proof that bodies are buried there, and he wants the area heritage listed. Matt Wordsworth reports.
Sunnyside is a picturesque property, almost 50 hectares of historic farmland just outside Bundaberg. But it's not the tranquility that brings visitors today.
There you go, mate.
Mate, good.
Thanks, mate.
Brian Cordes's grandfather bought the place in the 1920s, and neighbours told of a burial site for South Sea Islanders.
I assume that this first row was where they buried them first. Here.
But it was only this month that the former federal MP uncovered the proof he was looking for.
This is the child's grave here.
From the late 1800s, Sunnyside was a sugar plantation. The workforce was South Sea Islanders. It was a model used throughout Queensland. The state government estimates 62,000 workers were brought in from the Western Pacific, mostly from Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands. Some through outright kidnapping, or blackbirding as it was known, others through indentured labour.
Same exact thing that they did to the Indians of the Americas. They kidnapped them, brought them to a different part of that area, and made them indentured servants. Because people just simply aren't going to work for free. No, they're going to say, well, you don't have to work, but if you want to eat, this is what you're going to do. You're going to work for very little. So it's pretty much slavery, but no one can literally whip you, scare, like, unless you have to be that much of a coward for someone to force you to work. That's why it's very insulting for you to say that my ancestors were slaves. What you're saying is my ancestors were cowards. Now, also to be fair, many of the people who, are so-called Native Americans, whether they look Asian or black, they both descend from traitors and cowards. Because if you are part of a Native American clan, and you are an Israelite, you're not like one of these white people who married in, then your forefathers, they betrayed your brothers. I hope you know this. You would not have a clan unless you helped the enemy kill your brothers and sisters. Of course, this doesn't matter because, both parties were wicked. And that was supposed to happen. This is prophecy, that their eye would be evil towards their brothers. This was prophecy. This was prophesied. Right? It wasn't the Asians versus the blacks. That's nonsense. The Asians betrayed the Asians. The Asians betrayed the blacks. The blacks betrayed the blacks. The blacks betrayed the Asians. But yeah, this is very similar to what happened in the Americas.
These were 3-year contracts for far less pay than awarded to European workers, and they had to be signed to be legal, but few could read English.
I don't like the word indentured. It
Oh,
comes
I'm
up.
sorry. They could not read the language. They were forced to be slaves. And they came with decrees and contracts and all this stuff, and they didn't understand what they were doing or saying. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yeah. They just came in and ransacked them. This sounds very similar.
Up a lot of sins. I think when you bring people out and you pay them a pittance and you transfer that money over into whatever it was, flour, sugar, rice, that's not a wage. It's still bringing them as slaves.
After 3 years, labourers were supposed to be shipped home, But with death rates more than triple that of the wider population, many didn't make it. In Bundaberg, they weren't allowed to be buried in the local cemetery.
They weren't classified
They worked them to the bone.
as Catholic or Protestant or Church of England.
So they weren't allowed to be buried here?
No.
For all you people, sorry I keep pausing the video, but things just keep popping in my head. Because people, you know, they've been teaching that these people are Japheth, are the original people of Japheth. Wasn't Japheth supposed to be blessed in the last days with the lands of Shem? So why are these people catching so much hell? Why do people hate them so much? Especially in Australia. And you know what's funny? The white people in Australia, if you go there as a black American, you know, they treat you well. They're like, oh wow, I love hip hop, right? But if you're an Aboriginal Australian, they hate you. The grass is always greener on the other side. So if you think that you have it the worst, then you need to look past yourself, right? People have it a lot worse than even Americans, us Americans, all around the world. You don't know what having it hard is. You don't. People want to say that, well, Native Americans, they got reparations. When I looked into some of the things that happen on reservations, I can't even repeat it. What happens to those little girls is mind-bogglingly disgusting, if that's a word. It really is heartbreaking. They are destroyed as a people. They're destroyed. A lot of them don't know their they have no recollection of their history. They've lost all of it. They've been Americanized. They don't know what the hell they're doing or who they are. They don't have any pride in who they are. And if they do, they have pride in all the paganism that they were doing. Oh, so much noise, so noisy in New York. But I'm chilling, man. You know, the Most High is going to have me out of here very, very soon. And when I dig in on that last day prophecy tomorrow, hopefully that will come to light.
When did that change?
In the mid-40s, 1940s.
Some were laid to rest elsewhere on the cemetery grounds, a section for migrants with no listed religion. But records only show a few hundred names, far short of the number who actually died.
They're mainly buried actually on the plantations or properties where they worked. So if a lot of the properties, they had the shanties where the Kanakas lived, so a burial site would be not that far from where they resided.
I caught that really late, but yeah, they didn't even keep records of everyone who died. You know, does that sound familiar? They didn't keep records of everyone here. No, they barely kept records, and then they mixed this up with all the other, you know, Gentiles. You know, raped our women and forced the men to procreate with them sometimes. Sometimes the men, you know, they were made as an embarrassment. All the buck breaking and, you know, all these horrible things. Feeding children to alligators. No, I don't have any hatred for it because, you know, when I also look at what those people were doing, they really deserved it. They deserve more, if I'm being real with you. These 400 or 500 years, however long it's been, it hasn't been enough. We should have been destroyed forever. We're paying a debt that we can't pay back. Even so, they're not going to keep records of everyone. Why do you want reparations from them? Why do you want reparations from the people who don't care about you, who don't like you, who are willing to lie? Even when they're trying to pay you back, they're still willing to lie because they know they can't pay you back. That's the point. But anyway, I'm not going to pause anymore. I'm going to finish this because this video is going to be very long as it is.
Gail Reid heard the stories about Sunnyside and took the ground-penetrating radar she uses at Bundaberg Cemetery to investigate. It shows disturbances in the soil, and she found 29 graves, right where those who passed the information on to Brian Cortis's grandfather said they would be. And when you were out there, how clear was it to you that there were graves there?
As clear as what I get here, yes.
It's been a revelation for South Sea Islander descendants who say it's a tangible link to the past and their identity.
Here we see the blood crying out from
Lost
the
their
ground
identity.
of our people. It's a very emotional thing
I
for
have
us.
no idea who they
Cal
are.
Nagus has been bringing people here for years, but says it's still not a well-known chapter of Queensland history.
What goes on the radio? The children go into a classroom down here. Do they know what happened up there in these cane fields that they grew up around?
Dr. Betty Winnie and her husband Dr. Lindis Winnie are visiting from the Solomons and heard about the gravesite while staying in town.
It has made me want to learn more about what happened to our people some 150 years ago. And for me to tell my children as well that they do have some kind of historical links with Australia.
I'd like for something to be done there so that all this can be known, even though it was a dark time then, but I would like my kids and their children to come here and know that this is an important part of our history as well.
When my grandfather and his brother bought the place in 1922,
Brian Cortis says the best way to preserve the area is to have it heritage listed.
I think it's crucial because these people are human beings. Most of them were brought against their will, some were coerced or conned. But the fact is, they deserve the dignity and the respect of having a marked grave.
No,
what
they
we
deserve
expect for
you
our
off their
families.
land. And
And
that's all
surely
with all due
they
respect.
are
You know, they're
entitled to
probably
that as well.
being very sincere, but
The Queensland Heritage Council
just
will
shouldn't
consider
speak.
the application early in the new year. Gail Reid hopes it spurs further research.
I just wish people would come forward. If they know that they've got a gravesite anywhere on their properties, we don't want it out there for the public to come and come over their properties, but we'd like to GPS it and permanently record it so it's there for history.
How does it make you feel that, you know, the shanties where they lived were just over here and the graves are just over there?
Mate, it's very emotional. It makes me feel like that I am something, that I am somebody.
doesn't even know who he is.
Matt Wordsworth in
It's
Bundaberg.
insane. You're gonna tell me those aren't Israelites scattered to the isles of the sea? Then they were sent there to be slaves. How is that any different from Jamaica? Please tell me, how are these people any different from the people of the Caribbean? You know, from Hispaniola, from Puerto Rico, from Trinidad. How are they any different? I don't see them as any different. Not anymore, at least. But we flowing, man. I wanted to read some of this article. Polynesian DNA mysteriously shows up in a Brazilian tribe. Even the scientists who discovered it aren't sure how it got there. Yeah, I'm sure. Now, this is all literally conjecture, opinion, and what have you. But let's read some of this. The Polynesians' epic voyages of exploration and colonization across the Pacific are one of humanity's most impressive accomplishments, even if the local bird life wasn't likely to have enjoyed it. Having most probably started in Taiwan, the explorers reached and settled on islands across most of the Pacific, as far north as Hawaii and as far south as New Zealand. And recent evidence shows that they also stopped in South America, where they stayed long enough to pick up food crops that eventually wound up distributed across the Pacific as well. By the time they reached South America, however, several large and sophisticated civilizations already developed along the west coast of that continent. Wow, they are very disrespectful. You see how much they're trying to insult their, like, these are backhanded compliments. How do you know what time they reached to South America? Like, what the hell? This is in sharp contrast to the uninhabited islands that the Polynesians were using to colonize, which raises questions about whether any of the voyagers were likely to have stayed in the newly discovered land. Genetic surveys of native populations in Peru and elsewhere have indicated that if any did stick around, they didn't make a significant contribution to the local gene pool. But now, some researchers have found some Polynesian DNA in some remains of some Native Americans. Oddly, however, the remains are the exact opposite side of the continent from where the Polynesians are likely to have landed. Even the researchers themselves are at a bit of a loss to explain it. After considering several possible causes, even the one they find most likely gets labeled as fanciful. See, when they don't understand something, it's fanciful. It never happened. It doesn't make sense. It is not supported by science, whatever. But I wanted to read some of these comments because some of these comments are very indicative about, how people are. This is just like a microcosm. Like, you'll see, like, the smartest comments get thumbed down so much. It's hilarious. Look, Mormons would say that Polynesians came from South America, which actually makes a hell of a lot of sense. Let me check this video real quick. 5. Oh, Eldar Yule's live streaming. I gotta check that later. Let's see if he still has it up. Yep, he does. Let me just see where he paints the image that I'm looking for. Taking a while to load. So, wait, he shows the C pattern somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I want to see that first. Where is it? Well, anyway, most of the currents, they go away from South America. None of them go towards South America, right? Everything goes away from America. That's why it's like the perfect land, because people can go out, but they don't come back. That's how the Most High set it up. It's his favorite land, right? He called this land a better land than ancient Israel, and he likes that land very much. He loves that land. So UB doesn't understand why, like how Polynesians ended up here when none of the currents go there. So his theory is that first they came through the Bering Strait, they went all the way down here, and then they boated off to Australia, and then they just keep doing this cycle, right? But when you don't have, the second stick, the Book of Mormon, that's when you start coming up with these theories that don't make any sense. And you want to stay ignorant. You're like, well, we don't know, but, it's not important. However, this is such a huge find. He even says it. Mormons would say that Polynesians originally came from South America. Now, according to that map that he drew up, wouldn't that make more sense? He kind of is saying that. He's saying that there's no way that they could have boated from Australia to South America. They had to have come from South America to Australia, meaning they were originally in America. Right? So what does that make them? If the only people who were in America at one point, there were different nations, but when the Most High, when he pretty much killed the Jaredites off the land, it was only Israelites. They were just fighting amongst each other. Now, what do we know about the tribes? They were constantly warring against each other. They kept fighting against each other. They were even fighting from across the water. They were fighting, like the Indians from America were fighting the Jews in Europe. And when I say Jews, I mean the Southern Kingdom, the actual Southern Kingdom of Judah, the House of Judah. They were even fighting there. And if people are fighting over looks now, don't you think they were doing it back then? You had the more Asian Indians who battled the other Asian-looking Indians. But all that's kind of stupid to me, though, because as far as Native Americans, I mean North American Indians, to me, like, their body structure resembles so-called Black Americans the most. Many Black Americans have like high cheekbones and they're robust looking. They're very tall. A lot of Native Americans or North American Indians are very tall. They're the same people. Different tribes. If people are saying that the North American Indians are more, or like they're more related to, let's say, the Mexicans, how come they look totally different? How come Black Americans resemble Native Americans, North American Native Americans, more than Central American Native Americans? Because they're probably, like, Black Americans or the Black Indians and the Asian-looking Indians are probably the same people, like the same tribe. The Central Americans and the South Americans are probably different tribes, probably the 10 tribes. That's my theory, I don't know. But anyway, this is going to be a long video because I'm very slow right now. Please forgive me. I hope you're not bored. However fanciful it may seem, the post-Columbian exploration seems the more likely. This will always be a complication when trying to study Native American genetics 500 years after Columbus. Clearly, the Polynesians used the Panama Canal to make their way up to the other side. And then this person replied to the person who wrote, Mormons would say Polynesians came from South America. And he said, and the Zuni, which is I think a tribe in the Southwest, it's around the Arizona area. And the Zuni would say that all people were led from the fourth world, which is, like Africa, the Middle East, whatever, to the daylight world, I'm guessing is the Americas, by I can't read that. You know what, I'll try. The Awana Walona, the Awana Walonas. And I think Awana Walonas, that just means like the Most High, the Great Spirit, the Heavenly Father, whatever. His two sons in what is now the U.S. Southwest. So what's your point? Which is fun. What's funny? He's scoffing at him, but this probably did happen. Now, who are his twin sons? Could that be what's the other one? There's Gabriel and there's Michael, I think. Is that his two sons? Are those like the two head archangels? I don't know. I have no idea. That could be something else I could dig on. Are you suggesting that they got blown off course all the way from the southern tip of South America, ended up on the east coast of Brazil? Yeah, that doesn't make sense though. He's correct to laugh at that because it doesn't make sense. It's not inconceivable that a Polynesian explorer or offspring were traded across South America as slaves. Also, I wonder why the authors discount a more peaceable cross-land trek for any putative Polynesians. The explorations that didn't have to be purely I don't know, bro. These people be using these words. I'm not really interested in that. Whoa, I didn't realize the Polynesians reached Madagascar. I know that was just a slide point in the argument, but I looked it up and it turns out most people there are half Polynesian. I'm blown away by just how far they traveled. Now, weren't the American Indians, weren't they known as like travelers, as people who traveled the seas, right? They were sailors, right? People called them Moors. I know the Moors could also mean the Moabites of North Africa, but Moors were also referring to them. There's the connection. And Madagascar, I think that's a island that a lot of slaves from West Africa were taken to, if I'm not mistaken. Now here's another scoffing comment. Pretty funny. Because people make these comments and they don't know that what they're scoffing at is the absolute truth. You're about to see. Excuse me. The Mormon Church has taught that Native Americans and Polynesians are descendant from ancient seafaring Israelites. According to the Book of Mormon, Israelite descendants of Noah traveled across or underneath the Atlantic Ocean to Central America and the 3 millennia before the birth of Jesus Christ. Now this person is, he's being an asshole. He's laughing, excuse my language. He's making fun of it, and that's fine. Mormons sound stupid, but that's because it's Mormonism. Christians sound stupid because it's Christianity, but it's not in its rightful place. What happened to the New Testament when the Hebrew Israelites got their hands on it and started reading it? It pretty much came to life. Now, yeah, do they get things wrong? Yeah, because they don't have the second stick to precept. But they were able to understand it a lot better than they were. So, the Jaredites, the earliest of the groups, self-destructed in internal battles, and survivors of the 2 other groups, known as Lamanites and Nephites, after massive internecine warfare. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this word up.
Internecine.
Internecine. Destruction to both sides of a conflict. Wow, what a particular word to use. It's a very good word to use in that situation. This guy has a good vocabulary. Migrated into North America, where Jesus appeared to them after his resurrection. They preached Christianity. Okay, first of all, they're preaching Christianity, or quote-unquote Christianity, before Christ even came to them. Nephi was preaching Christ. So, well, whatever. They practiced Christianity until renewed warfare resulted in the annihilation of the Nephites. This didn't happen. This is what they say. The Nephites were not annihilated. There is no end to all people. Remains of the Lamanites scattered throughout, remains of the Lamanites scattered throughout the continent, becoming the American Indians encountered by European explorers and colonizers. DNA testing has showed it to be completely wrong. Oh, see, DNA, because the DNA says this, you're wrong, right? These people are slaves to DNA. They don't use DNA as a tool. They're slaves to it. I don't really like DNA, but I'm using it just to really, I guess, prove my point, give an extra perspective. But I don't take DNA that seriously. But let's move on. So this is a DNA map of the Americas. So these are the haplogroups that you have. I think A is actually this is kind of weird, but I think D, haplogroup D. I think a lot of Pacific Islanders have this. C, a lot of people in China have this. So, what was I thinking about again? I don't know. Haplogroup D. They say that it's popular in Asia or whatever. Actually, hold on, because I had something else. In fact, I might have to come back to this DNA part. Sorry about that. I kind of flopped with that one. I don't remember what I was trying to say with that. I should have wrote it down or something. So many things, man. So many tabs I have open. I kind of forgot where I was going. But anyway, let's move on. I want to share with you some scriptures, some pretty good scriptures. And it's not something that I ever thought about. There's another one. I wanted to explain this one. So we can combine these scriptures. Hold on. Let me let's just look at the whole chapter. Alright. So, beginning at Genesis 48 and verses 16 through 19. 16. The angel which redeemed me from all evil blessed the lads, which is Ephraim and Manasseh, and let my name be named on them, and the name of the fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Okay, so specifically, Ephraim and Manasseh were going to be large nations on the earth. Okay? Remember that. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head onto Manasseh's head. So he's giving this birthright mainly to Ephraim. Okay? And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. Now, people might read this and they might not know what to think of it. Well, this doesn't mean that Ephraim looks like the other nations. Okay. Well, this is what the Holy Spirit showed me this morning. Prepare to get your mind blown. Now let's go through this from piece by piece, right? And his father, what is this? Aub. Okay, so that just means father. Refused. A primitive word to refuse. Okay, that's right. I have to go through this like this. I don't know what that means. You know what? Let's just go to the main words. Let me stop being sarcastic. So let's go to, he shall become a people. Let's go to that word. A people as a congregated unit, specifically a tribe, as of those of Israel, hence collectively troops or attendants, figuratively a flock, folk, men, nation, people. Okay. Kind of lost my place. I'm trying to figure out which son he's talking about. There. I don't know if he's talking about Ephraim or Manasseh, but let's continue reading. And he also shall be great. Let's look what that means. Gadal. Properly to twist. To twist large. Advance, boast, bring up, exceed, excellent, be great, increase, lift up, magnify. So this is a very descriptive word, or a very general word. He's using a very grand word to describe how great of a people this son that he's talking about is going to be. Oh my God, I'm sorry guys. He's talking about Ephraim. No, he's talking about Manasseh here. Yeah, he is. Sorry about that. So he's saying that he's going to be a great people. He also shall be great. Okay. My apologies. But truly, however, on the contrary, but even as great as a people that Manasseh is going to be, his younger brother, just means younger, shall be greater. Let's look up this word. Which is the same word as gadal, just means better. Then he and his seed. So what does this mean? His seed. What is a man's seed? It is their offspring. So the offspring of Ephraim, not other nations literally, but the offspring of Ephraim. Remember this. People get this confused and think, well, this means that I can be grafted in through the nation of Ephraim. No, that's not what it's saying. It's saying that pretty much he's going to be his seed is going to be everywhere. Right? Pause. Pause. And his seed shall become a multitude. A multitude. So let's see what this means. From fullness, literally or figuratively, X all along, X all that is, fill, full, fullness, full, multitude. So these are the words: mass, multitude, fullness, that which fills entire content. So what have you? Where was I? Of nations. Now this is the key. Goyi, shortened Goy. What do they call? What do the Ish people call us? They call us Goyim, right? Or Goy, Gentile, Gentil, right? Remember. So, is he literally? Oh, let me just read this. Apparently, from the same root as Goy, a foreign nation, a foreign nation, hence a Gentile. Also, figuratively, a troop of animals, which is in a disrespectful way. You know, like Goy is like calling someone a nigger, right? You're calling them pretty much an animal. And, you know, there's some truth to it, honestly. I'm not going to go into that, but, you know, because it doesn't really matter. You know, I'm not in for hatred, right? Whether, if you are an animal, then you're an animal. You know, you're going to act like an animal if you're an animal. But I'm not going to call you one. Like, that's just disrespectful. Or a flight of locusts. Gentile, heathen, nation, people. So, what does this mean? His seed is going to be a multitude of heathen-looking nations. People read right past that. I don't know why. Why do you guys read right past that? It's crazy, man. Now, I wanted to go to Hosea. I want to read this chapter. When I would have healed Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered, the wickedness of Samaria, for they commit falsehood, and the thief cometh in, and the troop of robbers spoileth without. And they consider not in their hearts that I remember all their wickedness. Now their own doings have beset them about. They are before my face. They will make the king glad with their wickedness, and the princes with their lies. They are all adulterers, as an oven heated by the baker, who ceaseth from raising after he hath kneaded the dough, until it be leavened. In the day of our king, the princes have made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched forth his hand with scorners. He's describing Ephraim, or the nation of Ephraim. You know, and black people will call them Uncle Toms, pretty much. Like, they love to be with their oppressors. They don't even know that they're being whored out. Like, he's comparing them to a whore who pretty much, likes to be mistreated, likes to be taken advantage of. And they love their oppressors. Let's continue. For they have made ready their heart like an oven, whilst they lie in wait. Their baker sleepeth all night. In the morning it burneth as a flaming fire. So they're saying that Ephraim is like an oven waiting to be used. And the people who are supposed to input the bakeries in the oven, like, they're taking their time. They'll do it when they feel like it. And Ephraim really wants that bakery. It really wants to cook the bakery. Right? But the baker doesn't care. It's pretty much like, the quote unquote bad boy and the girl who's chasing the bad boy. Right? Even though like that whole scenario is dumb as hell, but try to understand what I'm trying to say. The nation of Ephraim, he's comparing them to that type of people. They love their oppressors. They love the other nations. They are all hot as an oven and have devoured their judges. All their kings are fallen. There is none among them that calleth unto me. They are split up. They're just mixing with everyone, not only physically, but spiritually. They're pretty much Gentiles. He says it in the next verse. Ephraim hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Why would they say a cake not turned? Is this talking about skin color? I don't think so. Maybe it is. Maybe. It could be. Right? But the reason why I say that is because why would it say he mixed himself amongst the people? That had nothing to do with really any of this, 1 through 7. He's pretty much calling them, 1 through 7, he's pretty much calling them like just whores, just spiritual whores. And I know where, well, he mixed himself among the people, he's a cake not turned. Right? Now let me try to look this up in the Strongs. Whew. 5. All right. Let me see. Mixed. All right. Let's look up mixed. By implication, to mix, to fodder, to anoint, to fade, to mingle, to mix, self. Okay? So whether it's spiritually, if that's spiritually, and it is spiritually, but how could it be spiritually and not be physically? I just showed you the physical part in Genesis. Now this is a spiritual description, but it can also be a physical one. But let's continue. Among the people, a people, specifically a tribe. So this is just talking people. It's not, it didn't say goy. Is a cake. You know, an ash cake as a round cake, a disc or cake. This is a pancake. What does a pancake look like when you don't turn it? Now let's see not turned. To turn over, to turn about or over, by implication, to change, to overturn, return, pervert, to become, to change, come, be converted, give, make, a bed, overthrow, preserve, retire, tumble. It can mean a lot of different things. But what makes sense? Tell me what makes sense. Let's read the rest of his here, because this is pretty helpful. And the pride of Israel. Now, what is this talking about? Is this Israel? Is it the 10 tribes? Let's see. He will rule as God. Is all right. Well, it's just said Israel, but let's try to figure out if this is talking about now is all of a sudden talking about the 12 tribes, or is it still talking about the 10 tribes? Because Ephraim is supposed to be the head of the 10 tribes, right? And the pride of Israel testifieth to his face, and they do not return to the Lord their God, nor seek him for all this. Wait, did I skip a verse? I'm sorry. 9. Strangers have devoured his strength. Let's look up devoured. Actually, no, let's look up strangers. Hence a foreigner, strange, profound, specifically to commit adultery. So these are the other nations. Strangers, other nations have eaten or devoured, but let's look, to eat at all, to burn up, consume, devour, dine, eat, feed. His strength. Meaning to be firm, vigor, literally or figuratively. Also a large lizard, chameleon, whatever. And he knoweth it not. Yea, gray hairs, old age, are here and there upon him, yet he knoweth not. And the pride of Israel testifieth to his face, and they do not return to the Lord their God, nor seek him for all this. Now, let's get into this. Ephraim is also like a silly dove. But let's look up silly. To be open, roomy, usually figuratively, in a mental or moral sense. A mental or a moral sense. To be casually, to be, aka to casually make simple or dilute, allure, deceive, enlarge, entice, flatter, persuade, silly. To be spacious, open, wide. Pretty much to make yourself wide open. You know, you're silly, you're not protecting yourself. He's comparing Ephraim to a stupid woman who is loose and just letting all these guys run ram shot on her, pretty much. Is a silly dove. Is a pigeon. What do people call females in the hood? What do you call them, right? Pigeon heads, right? They just walk around the street wanting attention from any and everyone. You know, pretty much whores. He's calling Ephraim pigeon heads without heart. The heart also used very widely for feelings, the will, and even the intellect. Likewise for the century of anything. The center of anything. Care for, comfortably, consent, considered, courageous, friendly, broken, hard, merry, double-hearted, kindly, mind, unawareness, understanding, well-wishing, willingly, wisdom. So he's saying that they have no pride, you know, they have nothing, they have no morality. Like, you guys gotta look into this stuff, man. That's crazy to me. I never saw that until the Most High just let me know that this morning. That stuff's crazy, man. But let me read some of this. So, now that you know that they're supposed to be a great nation, and they look like the so-called Goyim, or the heathens, or the Gentiles, let's read this this part. This is what I got for some website. There are those who maintain that the lost tribes wandered eastward along the Silk Road through the tortuous Gobi Desert, and they stopped temporarily in the land of the rising sun, aka Japan. A cessation that has lasted until today. Our aim in undertaking this expedition to Japan is to deepen our understanding of Japanese culture and with Japanese folklore, which, according to some traditions, had their origins in the descendants of the tribe of Ephraim. You know, he spelled it with an F. He must not be like American or something. And other Israelite tribes who arrived to Japan, some, you know, whatever. They can say whatever they want. I don't care what time period they say. But here's an article that I came across. Many of the traditional ceremonies in Japan and their DNA indicate that the lost tribes of Israel came to Japan, to ancient Japan. And here on the left, you see the Ark of the Covenant. Here on the right, you see the Omikoshi. I thought that's just Mikoshi. They must like add the O, because the Mikoshi is when they like do this. They go around and hold an ark in the same like similar way. But let's go through this. Is a very well written article. I'm going to leave this in the description. Okay. Dear friends in this world, I am a Japanese Christian writer living in Japan. As I study the Bible, I began to realize that many traditional customs and ceremonies in Japan are very similar to the ones of ancient Israel. I consider that perhaps these rituals came from the religion and customs of the Jews and the lost 10 tribes of Israel who might have come to ancient Japan. The following sections are concerned with those Japanese traditions which possibly originated from the ancient Israelites. The reason why I exhibit these on the internet is to enable anyone interested in this subject, especially Jewish friends, to become more interested, research it yourself, and share your feelings. The ancient kingdom of Israel, which consisted of 12 tribes, was in 933 BCE, divided into the southern kingdom, Judah. I don't need to know all this, I already know this. You know, they scattered after the Syrian captivity, yada yada yada. Okay, the Yusufzai. They live in Afghanistan. Yusufzai means children of Joseph, and that sounds like Yusuf, right? They have customs of ancient Israelites. Pathans, they live in Afghanistan and Pakistan. They have customs of circumcision on the 8th day, fringes of robe, Sabbath, kashrut, telphalin. I guess these are like the Hebrew names or the Yiddish names, I guess. The Kashmiri people. In Kashmir, they have the same land names as were given to the ancient northern kingdom of Israel. They have the Feast of Passover and the legend that they came from Israel. The Canaanites, the Canaanites, I don't know, bro. I don't like to read words like this. It's like that KN. I don't know if you don't say the K or I don't know, whatever. You see the word Kanites, which means people of Canaan. They speak Aramaic and use the Aramaic Bible. The Sinlu tribe. The Sinlung tribe. In Burma and India live Xinglu tribe, also called Manashi the Manashi tribe. Manashi is Manasseh, and the Manashi tribe is said to be the descendants of the tribe of Manasseh, one of the 10 tribes, the 10 lost tribes of Israel. They have ancient Israeli customs. The Xiang tribe. They live in China and have ancient Israeli customs. They believe in one God and have oral tradition that they came from far west. They say that their ancestor had 12 sons. They have customs of Passover, purification, levirate marriage, etc. as ancient Israelites. The Kaifeng, China. It is known that there had been a large Jewish community since the time of BCE. Japan. I'm going to discuss this on this website. So he's going to focus on Japan. Bro, this video is going to be long. I might have to split this up. I don't know. And Nagano, Prefecture, Japan. What are these words? There is a large Shinto shrine named Suwa Taisha. Taisha? Isn't that like a Native American name? Shinto is the national tradition religion peculiar to Japan. Now, I saw Shinto because, they're Senites. But they must have absorbed some Hebrew customs. But anyway, at Shua Taisha, the traditional festival called Ontosai is held at April 15th every year. When the Japanese use the lunar calendar, it was March/April. This festival illustrates the story of Isaac in chapter 22 of Genesis in the Bible, when Abraham was about to sacrifice his own son Isaac. The Ontosai festival, held since ancient days, is judged to be the most important festival of the Suwa Taisha. At the back of the shrine, Sui Taisha, there is a mountain called Mount Moriya, Moriya-san in Japanese. The people from the Suwa area call the god of Mount Moriya, Moriya no Kami, which means the god of Moriya. This shrine is to worship the god of Moriya. At the festival, a boy is tied by a rope to a wooden pillar and placed on a bamboo carpet. A Shinto priest comes to him preparing a knife. He cuts a part of the top of the wooden pillar, but then a messenger, another priest, comes there, and the boy is released. This is reminiscent of the biblical story in which Isaac was released after an angel came to Abraham. At this festival, animal sacrifices are also offered. 25 deer are sacrificed, but among them, it is believed that there is a deer with its ear split. The deer is considered to be the one God prepared. It could have some connection with the ram that God prepared and was sacrificed after Isaac was released, since the ram was caught in the thicket by the horns. The ear might have been split. In ancient time of Japan, there was no sheep, and it might have been the reason why they used deer. Deer is kosher. Even in historic times, people thought that this custom of deer sacrifice was strange, because animal sacrifice is not a Shinto tradition. Exactly. The Shinto religion, and mainly the people of Japan, are Canaanites, or Sinites. But so are the people of India, right? A lot of them are Canaanites. A lot of people in the Middle East are Canaanites, right? People call this festival the festival for Mishakuchi god. Wait, Misakuchi. I have to admit, Japanese is very easy to read. Like, it's said how it's spelled. The Mishakuchi might be, they're about to school me. Mi Asakuchi. Miyasakuchi. Am I saying that right? Miyasakuchi. I think so. Mi means great. Asaku. Oh, that sounds like Isaac. Oh, I get it. Is most likely Isaac. The Hebrew word. I'm not saying that, bro. I'm sorry. And chi is something for the end of the word. It seems that the people of Suwa made Isaac a god, probably by the influence of idol worshippers. Today, this custom of the boy about to be sacrificed then released is no longer practiced, but we can still see the custom of the wooden pillar called Oniye Bashura, which means sacrifice pillar. Alright, I cannot read all this, bro. You could read the rest of this, bro. This is too much. Like, look how long this article is. But he has a lot of proof. Like, I read a lot of this stuff. It's pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. So I looked up the Xiang Min tribe. Sorry. And this is what I came to. Now, these pictures are very blurry and bad. But who do these people look like? They kind of look like, black people, right? Israelites came to ancient Japan. You see these people. Can't really see them, but look. So do I think they came to ancient Japan? I do. Jewish Booba, miracles in Israel. Yeah, there are a good amount of Israelites in these countries. China is just a country. Anyone can be living there. Remember this. Is this? This is like an African custom, isn't it? Strange. Look, Manashi's children. Okay. Pretty interesting, right? At least I think it is. This is another long article. You know, they just talk about the different lost tribes of Afghanistan, the Pathans, as descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, the Kashmir. Very interesting stuff to dig on. All right. The whole point, I was just supposed to touch on this stuff. I'm not going to read like these whole articles. The video is pretty long as it is. And I want to enjoy my Sabbath, you feel me? But look, I don't know how to say this. I don't know if the N is silent or the B is silent, but you see Manessa here of India. Look how these people look. All Israelites don't have to look a certain way or be one type of people. They can look like many different things, especially if they're mixing down with all these nations. And I just showed you that Manasseh is going to be a big tribe, but Ephraim is going to be much larger than him. Here's another article. They have a lot of history in Japan. They even have Israelites in Ethiopia. I mean, I said even. There are Israelites in Ethiopia. They have people from Haile Selassie and all those descendants. But I think Israelites might have went there as well. But I'm going to leave this article here. I just wanted to touch on it. This is another article. Next up, the lost tribe of Ephraim in Japan. I think this is short enough to read. So, actually, we kind of already read this. So I'll read like a few sentences. A fascinating trip to the land of the rising sun to meet people who believe they belong to the lost tribe of Ephraim is next up for sidebar tours and Ertz Avati. Organizers of the 10 Lost Tribes Challenge. The tribe of Ephraim arrived in Japan in ancient times from Central Asia, viva the Silk Road, and you know all of this, right? But the thing is that I don't think I read it in one of these articles, but these people, they convert, like when they say, oh yeah, like we descend from Jewish people, they convert them to Judaism, which is pretty much just another version of Satanism. Did they do that with the Limba tribe? Probably. They could have did that with them. I don't know if they were already dressing like that. But these are some goddamn converts, bro. These aren't the people. The way how the Native Americans dressed, that's how the Israelites dressed before they were colonized, before they were taken by the Babylonians. I want you to know that. How they wore their fringes is how the Israelites originally wore their fringes. That's why the Most High preserved them, to show us, give us a way back. He's always going to give us a way back. But you can see here, Beni Ephraim. Beni means sons. So sons of Ephraim. Also the Telugu Jews, because they speak Telugu. Now, do I care? Like, these are no different from the people in Israel claiming that they're Jews. There's no different, right? If you're not following Christ, if you're not doing those things, I don't care who you are. If you're not up to speed, then the Most High has not chosen you. Like, do people not realize this? It doesn't matter if you're an Israelite. Now, do I believe those people in Israel are, Hebrews? I don't, simply because of, the type of preferential treatment that they get on earth. Right? They're not suffering. They're not going through hell. The main people going through hell that I see are the people of the islands and the big island of Turtle Island. Everyone else, nah. Not even the Bantu people in Africa are really like yeah, they've gone through hell. Don't get me wrong. They absolutely have. I'm not gonna go that far, but I just believe that the people here on this side of the world, and the way that they've had it, in the psychological damage that's been done to them, I think that's worse than any physical damage. It's worse to be trained to love your enemies more than you would love yourself. Let me show you what I mean. I don't know if this is the one.
Sprint has great news for you and your family. You can get both an unlimited plan
and the powerful new iPhone 11
included for just $35 a month.
God, that's a 15-second ad, my nigga. What the hell? I'm not buying Sprint.
So show me the smart child.
Oh, I don't care what she has to say. Let me see. I'm trying to find the old one.
Skin color. Show me which color looks like your skin color. Eye? Yes. Show me the skin color you want as your own.
I like the way I am.
And show me the skin color you believe most teachers think looks bad on a girl.
I don't think they could get mad at it.
I want an old one. I don't remember what it's called.
Which doll is the black doll? And which one is the white doll?
Oh.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.
Do you hear this mess? This is what I'm talking about. This is how people are over here. Now this is how people are everywhere. With colonization and all that. This is how people are. They're destroyed. At least like a lot of the Bantus, at least they have pride. Do they think they're Africans? Do they think they're Hamites? Yeah, probably, but they have pride. And this is just another clan. You can go over this stuff, man. This is just, they're called the, the K and the, I can't read that, man. I might be dumb. Let me show you the Yi tribe. I went through this on another one of these videos I did. I think it was on the Mongoloids. Look what they're wearing, though. Does this dress look familiar? Even this. This looks familiar as hell, doesn't it? Doesn't this look familiar? Don't these people look familiar? Who do these people look like? I'll give you 5 seconds. Time's up. I rest my case. Does that mean they're both not Israelites? Or maybe they both are. I don't know. Are they Peruvians? Are they Chinese? I can't even tell. They look so damn similar. Yo, I want this. This is dope. But these people are obviously Israelites. You don't wear stuff like this on your clothes just because you want to. This is passed down from some sort of from generation. This woman looked like a younger version of my grandma. I'm trying to find my grandma right here. Because I'm telling you, bro, a lot of my family on my father's side, they look Peruvian as hell. People don't believe me, bro. Bro, I'm telling you, these people look like the people on my father's side. High key. Oh, here we go. That's what I mean, bro. Like, we're not that different. We're really not. I'm not trying to be like mushy and trying to be like we are the world. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying what it is. We're not that different. We're not that different. But anyway, I was just digging into the DNA, but I'm not gonna touch on that. You know, I don't really feel like it. It's too deep, and I forgot honestly the arguments I was making. But the reason, so for some reason, I was looking at the Micronesia people. Actually, you know, I'll go into it because let me see. What was I looking at? I think I was looking at the haplogroup K. Oh, whoops. Let me just click on it. Yeah, so amongst the haplogroup K, they have a high percentage of, wait, what the hell? Amongst the Micronesian people, they have a high percentage of the haplogroup K. The Solomon Islands also have a high percentage of the haplogroup K. Now, I must warn you, this is why I don't like DNA. One, the samples are always bad. The samples are always going to be crap. Look, if you don't have at least 100 people, the experiment is not going to be very telling. You know, I know I run statistics. I go to school for statistics. These are not good enough numbers for a sample. 100 is not even a good number for a sample. The more people you have, the more it reflects the population. These are 35 people out of how many millions of people? Like, give me a break, bro. But anyway, regardless, like, let's play dumb with them, you know, with the people who truly believe in DNA and think that they can test everyone in the world. You know, let's look at these people. What do these people look like? They kind of look like Asian, they kind of look like Central American, right? In my opinion, they do. They look like Central Americans. These Polynesians. Why? Because they're probably the same people. Why are these people wearing stuff like this? Colorful fringes, and why do you see this? Same theme. Why do they have these headdresses? Why do they all have these necklaces that resemble fringes? What are they trying to mimic? What are they trying to do? Who are these people trying to be? Look at this. Who are these people trying to be? They're trying to connect with something lost. Right? Look, these people look like straight up so-called Latinos, right? Now they need to cover themselves up, bro. Like, I don't understand that. You know, I know people probably view it differently in these countries, but like usually women need to be covering themselves up. Men need to be covering themselves up too. I'm not trying to see no one's ball sack hanging out their pants. Like, come on, bro, have some decency. But anyway, these are the people from the Solomon Islands. These people look they look night and day different from the people here. But they have similar DNA. Now, are all these people Israelites? I have no idea. I don't know who these people are. But there's an Israelite connection here. You know, there's some sort of Israelite connection here. How strong it is or how much it is, I don't know. But are these people Israelites over here? Yeah, I bet. You know what? If we're betting between the two, I'd actually bet that these people are most likely Israelites than these people. Even though I still believe that there is a connection here. But these people are not as Negro looking, and I bet that they are over these people because they have more cultural similarities to the Israelites. These people, they wear a lot of dress similar to the Aztecs. These are the people of New Britain, which are more Polynesian islands. Why do they all dress so similarly? Why? These people look like a cross between those two people, right? They look kind of black and kind of Asian looking, right? Who are these? What are they trying to mimic? Now these people look a bit different, as I've said, but they don't look the same as the people of the Solomon Islands. The Solomon Islands, they look black, right? They're dark, you know, not really Nilotic dark or Hamitic dark, but they're significantly darker. Now look at the Bantu tribe. Now, are you guys seeing some similarities between the Bantus? Look at this. Look at this headdress. These are the Bantu tribes of Africa. Look what the females are wearing around their necks. What is this here? What are they trying to emulate? Why do they also have headdresses? Look what he made look what he made these skins into. Why are they all wearing fringes or tassels? Do you know that's more work to do that? Look at this. Look at this. Why? For air? What? Why? What is this for? This is the Bantu tribe. What is this for? Someone tell me what's this stuff for. Why? Why do they wear this? Someone tell me. Can anyone tell me? Face paint, headdress, stomp dancing, fringed clothing, remind you of someone? Remind you of a people? It does. It does remind me of a people. You know what people I'm thinking about? You know what people I'm thinking about? Look, fringe on the front. These dudes look like a bunch of faggots. Excuse my language, but I don't know why they look like that. But whatever. Look, why do they have fringes or tassels on their clothing? Look, neck wears, headdresses. That's not what I was trying to show you. I was trying to wait. Look at this. Look at this. Right? This is just Montezuma. This is probably closer to how he actually looked. I have all these strange pictures of him. this is not like a bad depiction, but that's probably not how he looked. Like they lightened up his skin, obviously, which is not a big deal, but it's just like, why do it, you know? And they have all these fake ass pictures of him looking like an Arab, like the invaders that came. But anyway, I want to show you these pictures so I can show you these ones. What is, didn't I just show you a picture of leopard print and fringes, a headdress? Am I tripping? Am I the one who's tripping? Please tell me. Please tell me if I'm tripping. I must be tripping, right? You know, this person is an Aztec queen, more like an Aztec whore. I don't know why you're dressing like that. There's no need. You don't need to be dressing this revealing. That goes for all the women. I don't understand that. Look at this. Fringes on the I don't know what you call that, like a neck dress. You know, extravagant headdress. Warriors. These are the same people. These are the same people. They just have different styles, different customs. But these are the same people. Bro, these girls are thick as hell. Oh my God. Ugh. Look at this. Look at this. We see a constant theme of colored fringes. There's a constant theme. Now this, actually, did I want to go here? I think I wanted to still here. Okay, let's go back here. What did the original people of Africa look like before the Bantu expansion? So, remember where I showed you that the Sumerians, the Sumer, they have a lot of similarities between the language that the Chinese use, because there were Asian looking people there, right? They were because Asians descend from Africans. All right. So you must know that Africans, the original Africans, there are different sorts of Africans. A lot of the Africans that you see, you think are Africans, they're not Africans. You know, they're Israelites. You know, they're the ones who are living in Africa and they don't want them there. We're a parasite to them. They don't want us there. You know, even though the Bantu, they claim to be like they're African, quote unquote, like saying we're American. You know, we're American, we're South American, we're Central American. These are just parts of an area. Africa, there's nowhere, Africa's not in the Bible. No one calls themselves Africans. These are the Croatian people, or the San tribe, I think they're also called. In my opinion, these are the Canaanites. But that's my opinion. Look at them. Listen, do you know how many black people I know that look like this dude? I even look similar to this in a certain way. Now, I'm much more handsome. Like, I have a lot of face protrusion. I have a jawline. You know, these people, they're kind of devoid of that. But I can see similarities in even how they look. No. This is how my cousin looks, because he's like half Chinese, half black. My cousin looks so similar to this. Why are they so light-skinned, by the way? This is where the Chinese came from, in my opinion. I don't know if that's the truth, But that's just what it seems. So you have this sort of people, and they seem like a very old people to them. These aren't Israelites. These are African people. These are Hamites. You have these sorts of Africans, more Nilotic people, right? These aren't Israelites. Not, like, not in my opinion, I don't think they are. This is like the, what's her name? The chick that plays in Black Panther, she played in Us. Lupita Nyong'o. I think this is her ilk, right? You can tell by the enormous forehead and the lack of hair, pretty much, But I can't say that because some of those women of the Bantu, they be having Muhammad Ali fades, so I can't be really like saying anything. But anyway, this is what another person thinks. There are excellent answers here. The two other replies described in the San or Bush people. I might also add the Pygmies or the Tiwa. Their males have the BY chromosome. They are one of the shortest people on Earth. So, short stature and Asiatic looking eyes. These things come from Africa. Obviously. I'm not saying that necessarily that, well, these people, like they mixed together, created the Asians. I have no idea where they came from, But I know that people look different. These could be like another clan of Canaanites, right? Who knows? Then you have the Nilotics of southern Sudan, who are the darkest and tallest folks on Earth. They are so dark, their skin is almost blue. Manute Bol was from southern Sudan. This is probably how the majority of the Egyptians looked. Right? Then you have the Cushitic. They live in East Africa, specifically Ethiopia, Somalia, and so on and so forth. And you can tell they have like a dark tint to them, right? Look, there's a darkness to them. I can't explain it. Like we have a redness, they have a darkness. But this is I just wanted to show you that real quick. I want to show you him, I want to show you him, her, him. These are like people, they look very different, but you can tell that we are all similar in some sort of way. However, we are not related to these people. We probably are not related to these people at all. And you have to understand that we're probably more likely related to where is it? To these people, to the Peruvians. Where is it? And also to these people, we're more likely related to these people and the Peruvians than we are to these people. To these people. Even though you see some so-called like black people look like them a little bit, but you could tell like these people have like a face deformity to them. Look, it says the true Negro, the San Ethiopian Niger. This is the true Negro according to them, according to that website, Real History WW. And that person, he be pushing agendas. That's why I don't really take him too seriously, but he has a lot of good info on his website or on her website, whatever they are. I want to wrap up this video, so I want to go through my final point, and that is the Yayoi versus the Jamun. So this is like the common Asian archetype. This is pretty similar to the archetype that you see of these people. You know, they don't really have a lot of face protrusion. You know, their faces seemed unfinished, right? And I'm not saying that to be racial or mean or anything like that, right? But this is the two different archetypes that they have in Japan. The Jomin of Japan. These people look similar to something, right? Who do these people look like? Well, first of all, they kind of look like the Australians. They don't look exactly like the Australians, but they look similar to them. So there is a prehistoric Jomin people before the other people, these people, got there. So let's finish up with that. More pictures. So I think there's an article about this. Which Asians look similar to the Japanese Jomans by appearance? So there are different sorts of Asians. So when you're calling people Mongoloids, you have to understand that there are different sorts of Asian looking people. You know, there's Asians like her, and there's Asians like her. This, you can say, well, this person looks kind of like almost like Latino, right? You know what I think? I think that these people are the leftover Israelites of that area. These people are more of the you know, whoever came there. Partly Canaanites, partly Japheth. Whoever these people are, I don't know who they are. You know, I'm guessing that they're from the Canaanites, but why are they much more paler than these people? These people are brown. They're light brown. These people are very pale. So let's read this. I don't think there's a specific Asian ethnic group that closely resembles Japanese people who have Jomin features, considering that the Jomin are believed to have originated in Southeast Asia, or more broadly in the Southeast Asia and South Asia region, or the Middle East maybe. I would believe people from certain parts of that region, as well as the Taiwanese aboriginals of Taiwan, would resemble Japanese people with Jamin features. I didn't actually look this up. Let's look this up. Taiwanese aborigines. Really? Kinda. A little bit. I don't see it though, but they could. Absolutely. So, and look, it says Jomin right, Yayoi left. This picture shows what people consider Jomin and Yayoi phenotypes. Obviously, everyone does not look the same, and not all Japanese people with Jomin or Yayoi features will look exactly like what this picture shows, but this is just an example. So based on this image, I have included a series of pictures of people from different Asian ethnic groups that have Jomin features. This person, bro, this person kind of looks Hispanic, right? But why? Why do people think of, you know, people from America when they see people who look like this? Kind of Asian, but almost kind of not really black looking, but more fuller looking, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm not saying this person is an Israelite or not. I'm just saying that they're probably still there. No, look at this person. Look at this person. This person doesn't really look like it, but like, you know, they say he does. Look at this person. You know. Look at the nose bridge. Look at the jawline. This person isn't necessarily the same as this sort of Asian. It's different. Look at this person. This guy looks like my friend's dad. I might have to show him this. He might think I'm being racist though, but I want to see his opinion. I read that the Japanese people are mixed with Anu, but I believe that is very rare despite the exaggeration and overrated claims that they are mixed. Here is what the Japanese are supposedly mixed with. They are Jomans. However, surprisingly, people who look like these also lived in Taiwan and parts of Southeast Asia. So these people supposedly lived in Taiwan. I don't know if that's true. If it's true, there could be Israelites there as well, and I wouldn't doubt it. Many Taiwanese Aborigines seem to share similar traits. In fact, these traits are known as you're going to listen to what he says. In fact, these traits are known as Proto-Mongoloid, which is the most common in majority of Amerindians and Native American tribes. Now, if we know that the Native Americans are obviously Hebrews, they're obviously Israelites, and they're saying that this like sort of look is the most common amongst them, what are they saying? That these people are the leftover people. They're the leftover people, the leftover Hebrews. That's what they're saying without really noticing. Now they say, well, they look more European. Actually, they look more Middle Eastern. That's what, you know, they're kind of saying. So I think I'm going to end here. I'll provide all links in the description. Very long video. I hope you guys, you know, got something out of it. Sorry if it was a bit disorganized. You know, I tried my best. I will try harder next time, as always. But until next time, shalom.